So, is the Sony A6600 still the king of APS-C size mirrorless style cameras? This camera's actually been out for a while, almost 2 years. Does it still stack up, and how does it compare to the other cameras on the market? Let's find out. By the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is River and we talk about anything and everything to do with camera gear, including teaching you guys how to take better photos and videos. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, helps me keep making more of this content for you guys, and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And as always, I will leave links down below in the description for all of the gear that we talk about today. With that being said, let's get into the video. So let's get right into it. Is the Sony A6600 still king of the hill? It has been out for about 2 years now, and there's definitely a lot of places where it has fallen behind, especially when you compare it to the other cameras coming out like the Fuji X-T4, which costs only a fraction more than this camera. But there's still some very specific cases where this camera absolutely outclasses the competition. So let's take a look at what exactly this camera still crushes at. So, is the Sony A6600 a good photo camera? Well, yes, but also not really. Here's the thing. It doesn't do anything special. When it comes to specs, it has a 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor, does 11 frames per second, 14-bit RAW. That is impressive, but that's what every other camera on the market does, and you could get these exact same specs for cheaper. What is impressive about this camera, and really any Sony camera, is the autofocusing system. When it comes to autofocus, Sony is light years ahead. The autofocus system is fast, reliable, and extremely accurate. One thing that I love about the autofocusing system is that it actually shows you exactly what it's focusing on using these little green dots, and it seamlessly switches between smart object tracking and smart face tracking. The autofocus is literally mind-blowing. And another thing that the Sony A6600 and most of the Sony cameras are amazing at is actually low light. I can easily shoot the A6600 at 10,000, 20,000 ISO, and it's very clean and very usable. It's only at about 30,000 ISO that I really start to see a lot of noise, but that's easily fixable in Lightroom. So if you're gonna get this camera, it only really makes sense for someone that's shooting high action sports, something with a lot of movement where you need that autofocus to do the work. Other than that, you could honestly get something like the Fuji cameras or the Canon cameras, because in camera, they're going to have nicer colors, smoother skin tones, and the Fuji cameras even have 35mm film emulation built right in, which is just going to give you a more interesting look than the Sony cameras. The Sony cameras are absolute beasts, but to be honest, if you're just gonna use the 6600 for photos, you could honestly get the A6100, which gives you the same specs, but in a cheaper body, and you're gonna save about $500. But video is where this camera really shines, and if you're really thinking about getting the Sony A6600, it really should be for video. But once again, it only makes sense to get the 6600 in very specific video cases. When it comes to the image quality, this camera looks beautiful and the specs are really impressive. It does 4K up to 30 frames per second, but that 4K is actually downsampled from 6K, so it's very sharp, very detailed, and looks amazing. And when it comes to full HD, this camera does 24, 30, 60, and 120 frames per second, which is really nice to have. But here's what's really impressive. This camera comes with S-Log2, S-Log3, cinema profiles 1 through 4 built right in. If you're somebody that wants to create something cinematic, really color grade your video, this camera is going to have you more than covered. But there is a downside to this camera. When it comes to bitrate, which is the data quality of your image file, it only does 50 megabits per second in full HD and 100 megabits per second in 4K, which is kind of slow and a bit lacking when you compare it to something like the Fuji X-T4, which is only about $300 more, but it does 200 megabits per second in full HD and 400 megabits per second in 4K. To put that into perspective, that means there's more data, more color information, more room to really tweak and finesse your image in the Fuji X-T4 versus the Sony A6600. So why would you want to get the Sony A6600 over the Fuji X-T4? Simply put, the autofocus and the built-in stabilization. The 6600 is really the perfect documentary or run and gun camera. It's made for someone that's dealing with challenging conditions like low lights. You can pump up your ISO, your subject is moving all over the place, so you need that stellar autofocus. And if your camera is going to be sticky and not on a tripod or a gimbal, you want that in-body stabilization for amazing handheld movement. Also, speaking of movement, this camera is so small and so easy to put on a very affordable gimbal. If you're someone that's constantly switching between tripod and gimbal or handheld and gimbal, this camera is really portable. It's going to make your life so easy. If you're someone that's really taking your time to sit down, make sure your focus is perfect and you're really playing with your lighting, this is not the camera for you. You could honestly get way better results with the Fuji X-T4 or any Canon camera. The A6600 is a great pro camera, but it's also a fantastic camera for casual travelers and vloggers, anybody that needs a camera to hold up in challenging shooting conditions. So you might be wondering, is this a good vlogging camera? Well, yeah, it's a great vlogging camera. It'll keep you in focus, it's nice and sharp, the 4K looks amazing, but here's the problem. When it comes to the flip-up screen design, it absolutely sucks. It's kind of a flimsy hinge. I don't like the flip-up screen to the top. Just the design of the screen is it's not ideal. It gets the job done, but I really wouldn't get this camera specifically for vlogging. But one thing that I should mention is that this camera does have an input for external audio, but it also has a headphone jack for monitoring your audio, which most cameras this size do not. So can you vlog with the 6600? Sure, but if you got this camera with the main purpose of vlogging, it would kind of be a waste. If you're someone that's specifically looking to vlog, but you want to do it on a mirrorless or a DSLR camera because of the way they look, honestly, the Canon 90D would be fantastic. Or the Sony A6400, it's the exact same camera as this, but without IBIS, so you save a few bucks. Which finally brings me to design. Why should you buy the A6600 versus a cheaper camera like the A6100 or the 6400? Well, simply put, this camera is made with pro features in mind. So right off the bat, right when you pick up this camera, you'll realize that it is solidly built. The build quality feels more robust, more rugged, the grip is deeper, which feels great in your hands. And the reason that grip is bigger is actually because the battery in this camera is bigger. Most Sony cameras use the old Sony battery cell, which honestly maybe lasts an hour to an hour and a half for shooting video, but this camera will easily last you 4 to 5 hours. In my opinion, the new Sony FZ100 batteries are easily as good as the Canon LP6 batteries. On top of that, this camera comes with 3 custom buttons, while the A6100 and 6400 only have 1 custom button. Now these custom buttons are really useful, especially if you're doing pro level work. I can simply tap one button, open up my picture profile, tap one button, turn autofocus from one mode to another. If you're someone that's really doing heavy usage with their camera, you're really going to appreciate these custom buttons. And other than that, just the way the buttons feel on this camera, I actually have the A6100 right here, and just pressing the buttons on this camera versus the 6600 feels way better. Just the build quality and the whole user experience of this camera feels more premium, and it really feels like it's worth that extra money. And another thing that you will notice is that the screen on the back and the OLED viewfinder is also of a much higher quality. When it comes to the ergonomics on this camera, they are great. I love the buttons, I love where everything is set up, but when it comes to the menus, they are far too cumbersome. I'm literally going through pages and pages and pages of menus. When it comes to Sony cameras, I generally don't like opening up the menu because it is such an unpleasant experience. If you're someone that's looking for a more streamlined camera experience, I would recommend looking into the Canon cameras. They are often a bit underpowered, but when it comes to user experience and the friendliness of the product, it is off the charts. They're so easy to just pick up and get great results with. If you're watching this video, chances are you're either a professional or someone that's pretty serious about their camera work. Either way, you can turn your camera into an asset that's going to make you money every single month. In the Side Hustle Pro course, we take the average person that just has a casual interest or a passion for photography and video, and we show them how to turn their interest into a high-paying side hustle income. And all of this without having to spend thousands of dollars on camera equipment or months of your time learning. So if you're interested in learning how to take the camera that you already own and turn it into a high-paying side hustle income, make sure to check out the Side Hustle Pro course in the link down below. And with that being said, let's get back into the video and I'll see you in the course. So how does the A6600 stack up 2 years later, especially when you look at all the steep competition? Simply put, the A6600 is still king when it comes to in-body stabilization and autofocus. So if you're someone that utilizes a lot of B-roll, a lot of handheld, you need to put this camera on a gimbal, or you're just doing a lot of run and gun work where you need the camera to be steady and have superb autofocus, this camera is far better than almost anything Canon makes or anything Fuji makes because of those two features. But if you're like me and you shoot more cinematic work like music videos, commercials, short films, and you really care about how robust the image is, how much data you're getting, for me personally, my main camera is a $80,000 Red Epic 8K. So for me, I really care about how good is that image quality, can I color grade it, and this camera really falls short considering the price range. For just a couple $100 more, you could get the Fuji X-T4, which also has in-body stabilization. It even has 240 frames per second in full HD, and it does 4K in 60. And it has 400 megabits per second in 4K mode. I would rather get that camera simply because I'm gonna have more room to push and pull my colors, more latitude, and that is really going to be better a camera for me as a cinematographer. But here's the thing, I used to do a lot of travel films, documentaries, music festival videos, and for something like that, I would still use the A6600 simply because of the autofocus and stabilization. When it comes to videos like that, I really don't need to color grade them that heavily. Just a light LUT on those videos is more than good enough. I don't need it to be on the same level of a cinematic music video or a short film. For something like that, the A6600 is still a much better choice. Plus, this is much smaller, much more compact, and much more easier to travel with on a job like that. But there is one major thing that I have to mention. At the time of making this video, the A6600 is about $1,400, and most likely the price will keep going down. But for an extra $400, you can actually get the A7C, which is a full frame camera, and the A7C is only about $100 more than the Fuji X-T4. Now, if you're a professional, you know everybody wants that large format full frame look, and on top of that, the specs in that camera are about the same as the 6600, so you're gonna get the same frame rate, all that stuff. So for a small portion of you guys, spending an extra $400 to get full frame will be very, very, very worth it, especially if you do a lot of photography. But for most of you guys that are video only, APS-C size will be more than good enough. And one thing that I love about the A7C is that the flip screen comes out to the side. Absolute game changer, especially if you're vlogging. Well guys, that's pretty much it for this review on the Sony A6600. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, helps the channel out, helps me keep making more of these videos for you guys. And if you are interested in learning how to take the camera that you already own and turn it into an asset that makes you money every single month, make sure to check out the Side Hustle Pro course in the link down below, and I'll either see you in the course or in the next video. Peace.